Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share my second attempt at my Enchanted Ocean um, acetate easel card. Um, this was my first attempt and it didn't go so well, and I showed you kind of how to somewhat fix it, and I'm not unhappy with it, but I don't love it. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it again and do things a little bit differently, and I'm much happier with the way this one came out. Looks like that. Anyway, let me show you what I did differently. Okay, so let's get started. I learned a lot from the last card that I made, and so I'm going to show you this is my how to make the fixed version, if you want to call it that. So basically what I decided was that the white was too stark, so I went with an ivory. And rather than doing just a single top fold card, I made my own top fold card base. And so I cut 3 pieces of 5x7, these 3, in the ivory, and then 1 piece of 5x8. And I scored it at a half an inch, or at an inch. Actually, it's a little, I think it's 1.5 inches because I don't think I cut anything off. So it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. And so this is going to be my card base. Then out of the two of the 5x7s and this one, after I scored it, I cut at a 3/4 inch border. I just used my paper trimmer to essentially cut out that inside. And I just did it on the paper trimmer as opposed to a die. You could use a nesting die if you had one, but I thought it was just as easy to do the paper trimmer. And I'm going to make my own easel card, and it's going to go right on there. And I think I'm going to put this to the inside because I've got a matte layer that's going to cover it up anyway. So we'll go ahead and build our card base. And this is a super easy way to make your own top fold card if you don't have one, is just cut the whatever card size you want as a single sheet, and then cut one a little bit bigger so that you can score at the top and just connect them together. And you can connect it on the back, or this way the back is clean. If I connect it on this side, then you're not going to see it really at the top. And I've got a matte layer to go on the inside anyway, and that'll cover up that join, so you won't even notice it. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to score my front because I want to make an easel card, and it's 7, so you got to score it 3.5. So 3.5. And that's essentially my card blank, my easel card, with the top cut out. Now I'm going to build the top. So this is the back piece of my easel. It's going to go on there. And then I'm going to build layers, and this is going to be my top. And it shouldn't matter because they're all essentially the same. And I really wanted to, if you remember on this one, I used the Create a Card, and I really wanted to use the Create a Card, but one of the problems with this card was that the Create a Card, the opening is not wide enough. And if you've got a 5x7 card as well, it leaves a big border. And if you remember, one of the problems on this one, in my opinion, was that the front was too plain because you've got such a wide border with nothing on there. And so I didn't like that, and I didn't like the fact that the opening was too small because you can't really see inside what you're trying to put in there. So that's why I cut this opening, and I've got a couple pieces of acetate that I'm going to mount on the insides of each of these to create layers. So let's go ahead and actually put that on there. We're going to put a piece of acetate on each of these, on the back and on the front. And this is heat resistant acetate, but the other thing I decided to do was to stamp my, oops, I didn't get that on there very straight. I'll trim it off. Okay, so there's my front piece. Let's put my back piece on. So I've got the heat resistant acetate, and on the other one I stamped and heat embossed and then colored on the acetate. But I think part of it was because the aperture was so small, but I also didn't like the fact that it wasn't very visible. Like you couldn't really see because when you color on acetate, it's quite transparent and so of a look, so you can't really tell. And I'm trying to decide which ones cut better. They're both about the same. So you can't, you look on here, you can't really see that very well because it's just so transparent. So I stamped onto white cardstock and colored them, and I'm going to put these on the acetate. And then I did cut the same creator cards, but what I'm going to do, because obviously if I do that, my aperture is too small, so I'm going to cut them apart, and I'm going to use it, but I'm going to cut it so that it's wider, and so that it works better for the aperture. So we'll see how this goes. So don't be afraid to snip into your creative cards or any of your die cuts really and make it work. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this piece off. I'm going to put this piece up there. I'm going to put this piece down here, and I'll just trim off these extras. So we're just going to trim. Just going to trim that off completely. That'll make that fit in the corner, just like that. And this piece is going to go in that corner, and I'm just going to trim off this piece. Just like that. And I think I'm going to trim those off too. Let me get my little snips. So I'm just going to trim off that and this partial piece. And then these can mount just like that. And then I get to use them, but it will help with some of it will create a bigger opening. So let me go ahead and put this on there. Because I do like this creative card, and I wanted to use it. But like I said, it just didn't create a big enough aperture for me to really put the things in there that I wanted to. And I cut 2 of them, one in each color. And this one I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to cut it and we'll put, oh, did I put it upside down? Oh no. So I'm going to put this piece over here and that piece up there. But I'll probably, yeah, I think I might reverse it. Okay. So we're going to snip into this here. And there. So that piece is going to go up there. Or no, that's, yeah, that piece is going to go up there. And we're just going to, so we're just going to take this side off. So that one's going to go up there. Then we're going to trim this there. And get my little small snips in here. There. I'm going to put that piece up there, and I'm going to raise it up so we get a little bit of a depth and dimension, but it'll go there. And then we're going to use this piece down here, like that. I'm going to snip this one off there, there, there. So this one's going to go in this corner. And then we got one extra piece that I can use wherever I feel like I need it. And I might put it down here. Yeah. So I've got some little tiny foam pads, and I'm going to raise these all up on these little foam pads because that's going to give me some separation between the 2 colors, which I really want. About there. Okay, now that gives me a nice scene. And then I'm going to put my fish and my turtle in there. So my turtle's going to be on foam pads. Because I want my turtle raised up. And I'm not going to make the mistake of putting the fish in first this time because my turtle is my star attraction. So I want my turtle in first, and then I'm going to arrange my fish around my turtle. Because if you remember in the last one, I put my turtle, I put the fish in first, and then I realized that I put my turtle over the top of my fish, and it did not work so well. Okay, so I'm going to put my fish just flat on the back. Put my clownfish down there. Oh, angelfish or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be up there. And this one, okay, there. And now when I put my top on, I have a really pretty little scene. Now what I haven't done yet is show you my background. So if you remember in this one, I used that stencil on acetate and then heat set it, and then ended up putting white behind it because you couldn't really see it. Well, I decided that rather than doing that, I did the same stencil, but I used vellum. And I'm going to put that vellum right back in the back. And look how cool that looks. That looks so much better. Because you can still kind of get a little bit of that transparent feeling, but you don't have to put the white cardstock behind it, and you still get a little bit of a transparency. So I had it over there drying. Hopefully it's dry, but I'm going to glue that on. And I can glue around the frame so the glue is not going to show because I don't have to put any glue in the middle. That's right on there. And then we're going to put this frame on top with some foam tape. Okay. Now, since I did raise these up, I'm going to have to put some foam of the same height. That's about the same height as my foam tape. So I'm going to have to put a double layer on that side where that stuff is. But here I just need a single layer. And line this up. It's going to fit on there exactly. And now that's my easel card top. And look how much better that looks than that. I'm a lot happier with that. So we're going to put some tape and some glue on this bottom part. Okay. Now we need a stopper. And I've got lots of different options for shells. And I can also do some decoration on the front if I want. So I've got this shell, which I think the white doesn't match very well, so I'm not going to use that. But I've got this one, or this one. I think I like that one. Okay, so I need some foam tape on that. About right there. We've got some nice turtles on the inside. Yeah. And now, I'm not going to use that. I do have some this if I want to do some more decoration like I did with this. And let's see what else I got in here. Like I said, I cut my foliage or extras and just keep them ready to go in case I need it. So I've got some of this I can use. The smaller one might look better. Or do I want to? Oh, I kind of like two. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with two. So that's why it's always nice to have extra embellishments cut and ready to use, because you never know what you're going to decide you want. All the stuff away. And then I can add a sentiment whenever I'm ready and want to. I can put a sentiment across the top. But I'm not sure what sentiment I want to use, so we're going to leave it just like that for now. I usually leave my cards, or I shouldn't say usually, but I often leave my cards without a sentiment on it, and then add a sentiment later when I know who I'm going to give it to for what occasion. All right, so lessons learned. Here was the first one that I showed you in the last one, and I'm not unhappy with that. I mean, I was able to fix most of the things, and it's not bad, but this looks so much better. So really happy with that. Now you could have inked around the sides, or done embossed this frame and inked it, perhaps. Maybe that would have looked better, but I don't mind it just like that, because if I put a sentiment across there and then with the decoration in the corner, I think it looks good. It's nice and clean. And there's my easel card. Looks just like that. Well, it's relatively flat, but looks just like that. Love how that came out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed seeing my mistakes, and then my attempt to fix my mistakes, and then my second attempt at my vision. I'm happier with that second attempt. So there you go.